Thank you for joining me on the show today. This is the Now Talks, a collection of inspiring personal stories and leadership lessons from some of the world's most iconic leaders. It is the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. My name is Dr. Tina Alton, and I'm your host for today and the coming weeks. Hello again, and welcome to another edition of the Now Woman Talks, which is the podcast for every woman in leadership. So I am coming to you live from Madrid. I've been here for the past 4.5 days and have been really surrounded by some incredible, people, both men and women. And really, it's kind of like what sparked this week's podcast because of the quality of women that I had the privilege of meeting and actually building a friendship with. And so I just want to think or talk to us, around how do we gather great people? And this really came about as well, as I've mentioned, because I'm here in Madrid for an event that I'm speaking at, and also thinking back to our leadership summits, the Nations of Women International Leadership Women's Leadership Summit happening in October. And as I was sharing about our summit with these ladies, one of the questions that the the leader asked me was, "So Tina, how do you gather great people?" And I thought, So I just began to share pieces of the heart of the summit, why we're doing it. And I think, well, this makes a great podcast. So without taking any more of your time, because we have a very short time to spend together, I want you to just grab a tea, coffee, water, milkshake, whatever it is that you have normally at this time as you listen to the podcast, and let's go on a journey. So I think the first thing is really, what is so important about having great people around you? How can that actually impact my personal life or my professional life, perhaps, or professional development, perhaps, is what you're thinking. Okay, like Tina, what's this got to do with my life or my professional development? And so I think one of the key things to remind ourselves of is the fact that we are the sum of the 5 people we hang out with, right? And I think when you go through history, it's very, very evident. I don't think we need any more research on it to show that some of the greatest people ever in our history actually had people around them, great people around them. They had wonderful people around them. And I think it's therefore quite important to recognize that having great people around us, having incredible people around us, people who are successful, people who are just that further ahead of us, actually can impact our personal life in such a tremendous way, as well as our professional development. I know that there are many other women that I have had the privilege of being around them. And by being around them, I have learned so much and I've grown so much. And they've had such a very big impact on my personal life and my professional life. And I think if you go through one of the past episodes with Dr. Arlene Westerhoff, I share about how she really impacted my life. And that was just one meeting that I got to meet her that began, a very beautiful journey of her impacting my life. So I think for all of us, we hopefully can have that same experience of, how somebody coming in contact with somebody or having great people around us have impacted us. And I think the other thing, just to elaborate a little bit, is there's so many advantages that can be gained for having great people around us. It can motivate you. It can inspire you. It can actually help you to really stretch your goals, stretch your vision, stretch, who you are, if that makes sense. It creates learning opportunities. It's just such a wonderful environment to be in, and often the byproduct actually of being around optimistic or inspiring people, just amazing people, helps you to gain. For me personally, anyway, it's helped me to gain like better perspective on things. It helped me to look at life more with much more optimism, become more optimistic. It's helped in creating solutions. So you know, having people around you of certain nature, solution oriented. I call them solution oriented individuals. And that really is the heart of what we're doing with the Nations of Women International Leadership Summit, is gathering great minds, some of the greatest minds, ever, in terms of female leaders from all walks of life, from all across the nations coming together. And when you are in such environment, I mean, there's so many opportunities beyond what you can even imagine. I know that for an absolute fact. I know that you would find solutions to, whatever problem or projects that you're working on. Um, it also will stretch you. You will stretch your vision, your goals, and actually, um, I know I've been in many rooms where it's like, Tina, you're not thinking big enough. So I think if you're that kind of woman, think, you know what, I really need to stretch my vision. I need to stretch my goals. I need to stretch how I'm thinking. I need to stretch how I'm dreaming and begin to dream big. Then you need to begin to gather, and you need to be around incredible people. I think you a good exercise is to actually just pause for a moment and think about maybe just one person, right? That you came into contact with, or you kind of like had a friendship with or relationship with. I don't mean, romantic relationship, but like a business relationship that actually impacted your life and helped you to excel in areas that perhaps you were not so good at. And, another great example is your team. Who's around you in your team. And having a great team actually helps you to like increase your productivity. It helps you to become a better version of yourself. It helps you to move a lot faster than you actually would be able to move all by yourself. Now let's look at the question, what are the characteristics of great people? So I think it's same question as, how are we inviting or selecting the women who are coming to the leadership summit, because our summit is not open for all. It's by private and exclusive invitation only. So how do we identify who to invite? How do we, find the right women to invite, the right leaders to invite? Basically, it's looking at the traits that, first of all, we define what are the traits of a great person. So you can also define that for yourself. If you think, you know what, it's time to surround yourself with great people, then you have to define who is a great person to you. Maybe, for example, positivity might be something that is important to you. Maybe it's opportunities that you're looking for at the moment to be able to maybe grow your business or grow yourself, right? It could be ambition, it could be goals, it could be integrity, it could be empathy, it could be just finding a supportive environment, whatever it is, right? Um, Positivity, for instance, is a key trait. Positive people spread optimism, and they can really help you to kind of like see opportunities where sometimes other people may just see obstacles. And I've been there many times. Ambition might be another trait where ambitious people, they set really high goals, they work incredibly hard to achieve them. Integrity is crucial. It builds trust, it fosters strong relationships. I've already done a podcast on leading, with integrity, and how that really can help you with your relationship. So go and listen to that as well, right? It could be empathy, where you now are with people who understand things a lot more, perhaps the way you also understand things, or maybe they share, feelings of others, or just fostering a supportive environment. Whatever it is, you have to be able to define your characteristics for great people. And that is, I've just shared a few here of how we are identifying the women that we are inviting. Another thing to, think, so what are the characteristics of great people? That's what we've talked about. How do I identify those great people, right? It's observing their behavior in various situations. How do they behave when they're in private or public? Maybe you might not always get the opportunity to observe them in how they behave in private, but all the time it is very, very possible to be able to observe people in their behavior, in the character, in public, right? um you also want to maybe observe their reaction to success or failure, right? Great people handle success with humility and failure with a lot of resilience, right? So um practical tips on how to apply these strategies. For example, when you meet new people, pay attention to these traits. Ask questions that would actually reveal their character. Like, can you tell me about a time, perhaps when things didn't go as planned? Whatever it is, you have to be able to find your own way of identifying great people. But these are just a few examples of how you can actually do that. And also how we're, identifying the leaders that we're going to be inviting. So how do you attract and connect to great people? It's, you know, personal growth, your hunger to grow really will help you to attract great people. And I know that I'm always hungry to grow. I'm constantly hungry to grow, not just myself, but my team, to grow my business and everything that I'm called to do and to be. And so because I'm hungering for growth. I'm hungering to become a better person. I'm hungering to become the woman that I was created to be. It becomes easy for me to also then know, actually, this is somebody that uh, I can grow from, if that makes sense. This is somebody that can help me to develop new skills. It may be improving your health, it may be improving your emotional intelligence, whatever it is, right? And how can you connect to these people? I think this is what is so important, so key that most of the time we forget is connecting, 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 connecting. How do you connect to people? It's networking, networking both online and offline. Find out where these great people hang out and go hang out with them. Be genuine in your interactions. People appreciate authenticity. Be interested in who they are, not just what they are, right? Ask about their experiences and pay attention to when they are speaking to you. And so, if you're one of those women that we have invited, then you are in for a real treat because these are excellent women, excellent leaders who you will have the opportunity to connect with, to grow with, to plan with, to pursue opportunities with. You right, and likewise, if you know that you're one of those, women that I've described here, that you love to develop yourself. You know that, what, it's going to take uh, continuous learning and growing and being around great people for you to become the woman that you're called to be and created to be. Then perhaps, reach out to us and apply for an invitation. We welcome applications, although every woman that is selected is known by us in terms of their character, in terms of their behavior. I think I've already, shared all these things. So these are very, very important. So in summary, it's, don't forget about the benefits of having great people around you, the traits of great people. You must understand the traits of great people. Write down your own, what are the traits that you're looking for in those that you want to surround yourself with. How are you going to identify them? You've got to know what you want in order to be able to identify, okay, fine, this is what I want. And therefore, I'm being able to see that. And then you've got to have a plan, a proper, genuine, authentic plan to attract and connect with them. And when you connect with them, like I've shared, is be genuine in your interactions. Don't be, all hyped and all of that stuff. No one has time for that. Everybody appreciates when people are authentic and real and true with them. Be interested in who they are, not just the what they are, or not even what they are, in the who they are. Ask relevant questions. Ask questions that what will help you to actually grow. Questions that will you can apply to your own life. And when you ask questions, be attentive. Pay attention to those. Right. So again, identify them, connect with them, and apply these strategies to your life. You could just simply start by identify one person that you admire and reach out to them for a conversation. Right? Reach out to them for a conversation. Be genuine in your reaching out. And if you're listening for the first time and you don't know me and you're thinking, well, I don't know anybody I can, reach out to me and, use me as your first stepping stone in your exercise or the homework that I've given you. And if you already are doing it, I would love to hear how this has impacted your life, how, any other strategies that you have. And I would also love to, hear from you, sharing your experiences or asking, questions that you'd want us to focus on and address in our next episode. And then also, I want you to reach out to us and share about, a story about a time when you were positively influenced by someone in your life, or a time when you recognize a great person based on the traits that we've discussed. And so until I come your way next week or next time, I hope this has been valuable to you and you have enjoyed it. And we look forward to being with you again next time. Bye bye. And that's all for this week. You've been listening to Dr. Tina Alton with the Now Talks, the weekly podcast for women in leadership, brought to you by Nations of Women. All that remains is for me to say, have a fantastic week, stay safe, and reach out if you need any help now at nationsofwomen.com. Until next time, enjoy the pursuit of your potential, and remember, now is your time.